What gives things mass and why don't photons have mass? Excellent question. So in my last video I talked about relativistic mass, mass that you gain by moving. I also talked about rest mass, mass that you just have. And photons have no rest mass, so why do other things have rest mass? That is because of the Higgs field. That was the thing people were going nuts over when they found the Higgs boson. The Higgs field, much like any other quantum field, is everywhere, and certain particles interact with it. In fact, most particles interact with it, but photons don't. So in a way, you could kind of look at photons like the default. If you don't interact with the Higgs field, you just move the speed of light. That's just what you do. But other particles, like the quarks that make up protons and neutrons that make up atoms, they interact with the Higgs field, and it slows them down. And the way that we experience that slowing down is by having rest mass. And it's only because those particles are slowed that they can interact with each other, and we have stuff like matter, and complex compounds, and life. And we know this is the case for a lot of reasons, but one piece of evidence that's really interesting is we have slowed down light. We pass photons through a cloud of supercooled rubidium, and that caused them to slow down and interact with each other much the way particles and atoms do. And slowing them down gave them the properties of mass. It's just they interacted with something else instead of the Higgs field like every other particle. So yeah, one of the analogies that scientists like to use is think of like a really deep, heavy snowdrift. The sidewalk isn't plowed, but the street is. If you walk on the street, it's relatively easy, but if you walk through the snow, it takes more effort to move yourself, and you move slower. You feel heavier. The snow is basically the Higgs field. If you were walking alongside other people on the street, you would move just fine. But if you were walking alongside other people in the snow, you would bounce into each other and interact. And the interaction is a snowball fight, I guess. Look, the analogy isn't perfect, but you get the idea.